I'm going to show you the fastest ways to validate whether a design trend is even worth diving into, how you can apply it to whatever niche you want, how to make your own design, how to put it on a t-shirt for sale on Etsy, and how much money people are actually making doing this, all in under 10 minutes. Plus, I'm going to show you how you could have gotten on this trend 8 months ago and been way ahead of the competition. So it all starts back in February when I dropped my March trend report inside my Inner Circle membership. Above and beyond teaching you how to make designs that actually sell, I also give you the inspiration to get that ball rolling. So 8 months ago in March's trend report, I told you that doodle designs were about to take off, and they did. So what kind of money are sellers earning with them? Let's take a look on Etsy. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I got a brand new Chrome window opened here, and I'm going to click on this. This is a bookmark that I saved that has shirt saved already as a bestseller. So all I have to do is come in and type in, for example, doodle space and then hit enter, and it's going to populate everything we have here based on the doodle search query, but with the bestseller already selected here. So how this works in the beginning, to go back a step for you guys, is if you were just on Etsy, for example, and you wanted to type in something, we can just say, for example, it's going to do its thing. Then we would have to come to show filters here and then drop to Etsy's best. Then we want to pick star seller. Now we've got all star sellers. Then we would come up here and change the word star to best. And now you're going to see all popular nows and bestseller badges, right? That's exactly what we want to look at right now so that we know, and here's the bestsellers. So we know what is selling right now in terms of recency and what has continued to sell over a certain period of time, right? Those are the two main things that we care about right now when we're doing research, right? So now that I've got this bestseller bar here already done, all you need to do is come here, highlight this, and then just drag it to your bookmarks bar. So now if we were on a main browser window, brand new, haven't really typed in anything in yet, you just come over here, you're going to see this populate right now with the word best already chosen. And then you can just come in here and type your niche and space and hit enter. And as I was doing that, coincidentally, you can see all the populating items here. So Doodle Search Everbee is showing us that has 513 monthly searches. So this is something, like I was saying, that has picked up steam recently, but I just want to show you that quick shortcut. So I'll leave this link down below. You can just copy and paste it into your browser, and then you can just literally highlight like that, drag and drop it to your bookmarks bar, so you don't have to worry about that ever again. But doing some research here, we can see bestseller, helping little minds grow. This is a pretty cool take on the doodle elements, adding in teacher-centric stuff here. It's all the little things, so this is microbiology. That's cool. Look at this, a bestseller. So you can literally apply this to any niche. I'm going to command click on this. I'm going to command click, which will be control on a PC, just to open these in different tabs here. That's a really cool idea. This one's really cool too. I'm just going to look at these really quickly. And then this, something like this. Ooh, look at that. Football makes sense. Another thing I was saying in my trend reports actually a few months back now were that start dabbling in dual tones, right? We're playing ultimately off the fisherman aesthetic that Pinterest has declared it's going to be huge for 2025. And I honestly see this going, pretty deep into 2026 for sure as well. But that is the reds and blues, right? The old school red and blue here. And it's very, detailed, simple. It has to go with the sardines that you're seeing out there. You'll see a ton of them in red and blue as well. But this is a great take on this. So looking at this here, we've got the red, blue. You've got a couple of things that are unique to the Buffalo Bills football team, but what we don't have here is the actual Buffalo Bills logo. We don't have anything, there's some allusion to things that are inside jokes for as far as a Buffalo Bill fan would go. I presume this is like a chant they have here, but it's done in a way that isn't infringing on anything. You're just capitalizing on generic football stuff, some inside jokes, but nothing that is competing with the brand itself. So this is a pretty awesome way to do it. And right across the top here, you can see that this listing is 2 months old. They already have 69 sales. And this is what I like about Everbee, is you can see everything right at a glance here. So super simple. Then we have the in 20 plus baskets, right? And you got our bestseller badge. Looking at the B one here is really cool as well. Holy, look at this. So 8 months old, or just under 8 months at least, 350 sales. So this thing is on fire right now. That is what, 40, 8 times 4, 320. So yeah, about 40, 45 sales a month right now. So more than one a day. Cool take on the doodle elements here. It looks like they just added some kind of like clip art B in here and then just put them all over the place. sporadically. So adding, again, color, a secondary element ultimately to this doodle design here. So really cool idea. The teachers one, kind of, pretty status quo, right? More of the same here. We've got helping little minds grow, some very simple rudimentary kind of doodle designs here with helping little minds grow, a font that looks pretty organic. And I actually know this font as well in Kindle, which we'll get to later, but this is 5 months old. It's already sold 400 times. That's what, about 80-ish a month? Yeah, literally almost exactly, right? So 6 views in the last 24 hours. This thing is selling like crazy and it's only going to explode. This is a really cool take on this. So this is less than 2 months old, 28 sales here. What a cool take on this. So a couple of things here. I really like the design here. We got some microbiological organisms, it looks like. I'm not going to go and pretend I know what all these things are. We're seeing the exact same font. The only thing different about this is the design is cut off here, and this is only okay if the meat and potatoes of the design is obvious and captured in this part of the mock-up, right? So we're not cutting off any important text or anything like that. If it said it's the, and you didn't see little things because it was folded under down here, then it would really be shooting yourself in the foot because no one can tell what the design says. And I really like this one. So all of these listings you're going to see are less than 8 months old. So ultimately, if you were in my membership, you would have had that trend report 8 months ago, almost 9 months, and been ahead, way ahead of the curve. But that's not to say that, we're only 1 month in, maybe less even, and this thing has already sold 27 times. The nice thing about this is they took the same MO, the same modus operandi here, and kind of the same idea, and all they did, again, same font, so I mean, we're not really reinventing the wheel here at all, is create one with a personalized element. So we all know that a nice way to stand out is by giving that extra value, that added value to the customer. And a quick and easy way to do this is just by adding the Millers here, right? So Thanksgiving 2025, you got your own family name for that, reunion, that Thanksgiving dinner that happens, only once a year. And it's a time where families from all over will come together, right? It's the biggest, family gathering arguably before Christmas, right? So then you have Thanksgiving 2025, Austin, Texas. Now we've got a bunch of different things here that kind of speak to the season. So you've got the wine bottle that arguably somebody would bring as a gift. You got obviously the turkey. You've got some pies, scarves, right? It's getting cold. You got winter, an oak leaf here, a toque, as we would say in Canada. In the States, you guys would call it a knit hat or a beanie, I think. That said, I think that this is going to be huge now for Christmas, and this is something that you guys can do as well. And again, one thing that, common denominator, if you noticed, we've got comfort colors here. We've got a comfort colors here as well. The B1, also a comfort colors. And going back here to the search results page, look at this, even Pickle Girl. This is really cool. 3 months old. I'm going to click on you as well. Just stumbling upon these, right? So same idea. The pickle thing has been hot, the pickle jars from a TikTok trend almost 2 years ago now, I want to say, at least a year and a half. And this is a brand new take on this. Look at this. This listing is less than 3 months old, 111 sales. So it's selling more than 30 a month, more than one a day. 5 views in the last 24 hours. Pretty cool. This is looking like a PNG design here. So the nice thing is that if you were making designs to sell for print on demand, you can also use the designs to sell in your own digital download shop, right? Same idea as this. Yes, this Chrome extension is amazing because you can see everything right at a glance, but going into the left side of the bar here, you can just hover and this side menu pops up. You can just click on product analytics now, and now it's searching Etsy's database of over 130 million listings for everything that had the keyword doodle shirt, right? So we've got the family Thanksgiving one that we were looking at here. And you can see the trends graph. If you hover, you can see it pop up. It says click to expand the trends graph. I'm just going to expand this, and you can see they had 5 sales September 14th, it looks like, September 24th, 4, and then all of a sudden, September 26th, they started popping off. Another thing we can do here is filter. But a lot of people like to look at listing age. When you open this up, listing age will be somewhere over here. You can literally just drag these columns and put them wherever you want. I like to have my listing age right at the front. So I got the product, the shop name, the price, and the listing age. And then we've got our awesome metrics here for sales revenue trends. You can filter this right now. So our listing age, we can say a max of 4 months. A lot of people like to filter so that they only look for new listings. But the only reason I'm doing this is to show you that the doodle designs are also recent. So you haven't missed the boat if you were not on top of this 9 months ago, right? We saw a couple that were very new and they're selling like crazy, right? So as I'm typing that now, it already filtered, but there's so much that you can do with just Everbee here in terms of analytics. And then you just click on any of these listing titles here and it'll populate in the side, same way that you would have if it was on the side here and you click to analyze this listing. So you're seeing the same stuff here. So you don't even have to leave Etsy proper if you're using a Chrome extension anyway. But there's so much you can look at here. And I just wanted to make sure that I kind of shone a light on this because, you know, I don't do it enough, I don't think. I just wanted to make sure I showed you what was capable here because you can even filter by revenue and look at this. So we're only in the last 4 months or less, right? This cute Halloween ghost pumpkin shirt has made 308 sales in the last month alone for $8,448 in revenue in the last month. It's obviously trending down a bit because we're coming up on Halloween in the next 2 weeks. So, you know, you're probably not going to get it in time, but this thing has been on fire. And if you ever want to just get out of here, you can just click on the X here and you're right back into your Etsy window where you were. So we haven't left and gone anywhere else. We're all still right at the root of our search query here and search results. So now that we validated that you can still get into this kind of trend and apply this to whatever niche you happen to be into, now comes the fun part where we got to make this design and make something that is actually going to sell. So over to Kittl I go, and yes, if you want to try Everbee for free, I'll leave a link down below as well as with Kittl, and I do have coupon codes that'll save you a bundle on all of the tools I'm using today. So make sure you check that out down below, including one for 25% off the your monthly plan with Kittl here. But we're going to start fresh here. I'm just coming down to this icon here and it says chat. So I'm just going to open this up and I'm just going to tell it what we're looking for. So I'm just saying here, give me a list of 15 elements that I can create doodle designs for to create a Christmas t-shirt design. Just like that. Absolutely. Here are 15 elements you can use to create festive doodle designs for a Christmas t-shirt. So we didn't leave and go to, you know, Chat GPT or anything like that to bring this stuff in. It's all right inside of Kittl. So we're saving all kinds of time just by being here. I don't even think we need the date here. We could have 2025 because it'll be Christmas, but I'm just going to type, what are the 10 most popular family names right now so that we can make sure that we create at least one of these for the top 5. Smith, Johnson, Williams, Brown, Jones, Garcia, Miller, Davis, Rodriguez, and Martinez. So Smiths, add an S, hold Option to pull it out. Because if I didn't hold Option and only pull this, it's going to pull it off the page. I just want to kind of see what I'm doing. So always hold Option and pull it real easily. And then we'll change the font here. And while this font is hugely popular, I'm just going to click on Handmade here and we can go with something a little bit different. See if we can make something that is a little more, you know, legible, that doesn't look too beat up. The Smiths, I think this works. And what I always do when I'm using any kind of cursive font that looks, you know, organically handwritten, I always curve it up to the right a little, and it doesn't have to be much. It's just enough because the only time you would ever have it completely horizontal is if you were drawing on lined paper when you were learning how to actually write cursive, or if there were lines on a chalkboard in school. But anytime you write this organically without any kind of lines there, the human tendency is to go awry a little bit, right? And even if you were, you know, trying to do it really well, in this case, doing something a little less perfect adds that human touch to it in a world full of AI, right? So yes, we're using AI for a lot of this design right now, but we're also adding a human element, which is intentionally making it, you know, a little bit off kilter in that way, right? And it just looks more natural. So I'm just going to put the Smiths here, you know, relatively taking up most of the design here. And then we can do the Smiths Family Christmas. And then I'm going to take this design right here. You can click on the artboard here. I'm just going to add a smartboard here. Or you can hover over this blue arrow and it'll populate a new board. And you can tell it's a smartboard because yes, it says smartboard here, but it also has this, purple, not blue, has this kind of arrow connecting these two here. So it's going to take this, and over here now it's telling me to describe my variation of this design with a prompt. So what I typed here was create a design with these 15 elements, make them hand-drawn doodles with imperfections and different line thicknesses, keep them roughly the same size. And I'm just going to now copy my 15 items and paste. And then I'm going to enhance the prompt. So now we have create a hand-drawn doodle design featuring 15 Christmas elements, each with intentional imperfections and varying line thicknesses. to give a whimsical, authentic feel. Ensure each element maintains a roughly uniform size for balanced composition. Emphasize the charm of handmade art with visible sketch lines and playful arrangement. And I'll leave this exact prompt down below so you can just kind of add in your items here for the ones you want to create. And just to give it a head start here, I'm going to actually select all of this and we're going to change the color here. Like a red, I think would look cool. A muted red on maybe an off-white background here would look pretty cool. Make all doodles one color and just hit generate. It's using Nano Banana now to make these edits based on my prompt to this existing quote unquote design, even though it is just 3 lines of text here. And here we are. So just like that, we have kind of pretty much an idea for a design here. This could work on its own, but I think it would look a lot better if we kind of reorganize these to reduce the space between all elements and randomize the layout. Because I'm lazy, like I always do, I always highlight this and copy first. And then I'm just going to enhance that way. If I don't like the prompt it gives me, I can just paste my initial one over top. So reduce the spacing between all elements to create a tighter composition and randomize the layout for a more dynamic and visually engaging design. All right, sounds good. I wouldn't have typed all that, but hey, here we are, right? So again, we got 13, 14 seconds counting down. So it kept these in the same place, but just added snowflakes. So what the nice thing about the smartboard here is you can just come onto this one and I can hover over this arrow and it's going to give me a new smartboard to work off of, but I'm going to work off this one again, right? So this prompt, it said reduce the spacing between all elements to create a tighter composition and randomize the layout for more visually engaging design. I'm just going to come back here and this is where I will paste. So reduce the space between all the elements and randomize the layout. I'm just going to try my own here. So again, I mean, we're talking like 15 seconds a pop here max. All right, so it is a little tighter here. Next thing I'm going to do is create another artboard. It's a little bit bigger than the arrow we got here. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to click on this here, and now I'm going to convert this smartboard to an image. Just kind of plops it over to the right, so you can do the artboard before or after. The next thing I'm going to do is erase our font here, because we're going to use the original editable text. This is a design now, like a raster image made of pixels, so we can't actually use this text. So I'm just going to actually make the size a little bigger, make it go a little faster, right? Click done. And now we have our design here, but you can see how it's kind of, blurry and pixely, right? It's not going to print awesome. No worries. We can just come over here to this little icon and click upscale, loading, and there we go. Look how nice and crisp this is, right? So now I'm going to vectorize this. I'm just going to change the background color here so you can see what we're looking at. So let's maybe make you the off-white that I wanted to. Now you can see it. I'm just going to take this here. I'm going to click vectorize now. I'm going to pick 2 colors. So it's going to keep the white and the red. I'm going to vectorize image. And now we've got our vector image here, right? We've got our doodles of all our little things here that look super cute. And then we have the white also. All you have to do is double click on this and now you can see that it's only got the white selected. So if I move this around now, it's left everything else in place. All I have to do is hit delete and now I've got just the other elements here on the background. So I'm just going to change the color of these back to a red. Now we have our red elements, our red cool doodle elements. And then I'm going to come back over here, select our text, copy, come back down here and paste. And put it right here. And now we can just kind of tweak this to fit a little bit better. So the Smiths here, I think it looks good like that. Smith's Family Christmas, and then 2025 is kind of the most important part. Let's close you up a bit. And there you go. You've got a design now. And then everything is vector and it's totally editable. So we can just, make this as big as we want here. I'm going to Command G to group everything. So now when I select it, I've got the whole thing selected. And then I'm just going to come over here and center. So you can see how that moved over to the middle here. And then I'm going to do the same here in the middle. It's going to center it that way. So now you can see up and down. And then all we have to do is come over here. We don't want all artboards. We only want artboard number 5 here. So no, come down, select artboard 5. We want to make sure that these boxes are ticked for remove background and optimize quality. We can leave this at 72 dpi because our pixel dimension is so huge already. And you can see that at 72 dpi, this export size is 72 inches by almost 80 inches long. So way too big for a t-shirt. And when we shrink it down in our artboard in Printify, which we're going to go to next to create our design, that DPI, which stands for dots per square inch. So it's referring to the amount of ink drops that are literally printed inside every square inch of design. that will dramatically increase. So it'll be more like a 300 plus DPI, which you hear that number 300 all the time. It'll automatically do that for us, so we don't have to worry about it. As long as this initial design is created at these, relatively speaking, these pixels. I prefer 4500 by 5400. That is 15 inches by 18 inches tall at 300 DPI. And then we're just going to click download, and this should download only this without the beige background. So I'll just come over here and click on this and see, and there we have it, right? We are 3/4 of the way there, and we haven't even broken a sweat yet. Next up is going into Printify. So in Printify here, and you can see a design I did before, same idea, but 'tis the season with random Christmas stuff here. So if you're new to print on demand, Printify is a company that has a bunch of different printers on its roster from all over the planet. As a Canadian seller, for example, I'm currently living in Belize. It's why I can do this. I can use Printify to choose a printer in a state nearest the customer and have them print, package, and ship their order for me, so I don't have to worry about holding any inventory. It's why I was able to move down here to Belize. All you really need is a laptop and some decent internet to make sure you can process your orders. That's all there is to it in this case. I don't have to hold any kind of inventory. It's such a beautiful thing. But we can click on t-shirts here. These are the best sellers here with the badge. And we've got the Gildan Soft Style, which is typically my go-to here because it is just a good bang for buck shirt. It's nice and soft and it's cheap. It's nowhere near the price of the Comfort Colors. But at the same time, this is the most popular shirt like we saw on all of these tabs here, right? Comfort Colors, Comfort Colors, Comfort Colors. So not reinventing the wheel, just going to go do more of the same here. So you can select where you want to ship from. So I'm going to show you if we choose manually here, you can see that Monster Digital has a 9.4 rating. They are fulfilling orders in under a day right now. So imagine you don't even need inventory, but then you also don't need print equipment or anything else, and you can just submit an order, and by this time tomorrow or maybe like in 18 hours from now, it will have already shipped. And once it's shipped, they push a tracking notification to your Etsy order and mark it shipped in Etsy as well, so you don't ever have to worry about doing anything like that. And I want to show you the price here so we can look at how much money we're actually going to be able to make here. So with Printify Premium, and I have a coupon code down below that'll allow you 30 days free of Printify Premium, so you can leverage their pricing here, but it's $11.05 for a t-shirt up to 2XL, then it goes up by about $2. Without Printify Premium, you're looking at $12.79, so that's about $1.74 difference. So if you sold 10 orders, that's $17.40 difference every single day, right? So this is something, for example, that would save you a ton of money. So if you're interested in doing that, definitely use my coupon code and link down below. But let's get into the design here. You can click on Start Designing. All we need to do is come to our design here, drag and drop it. And see, it shows you here that it is 14 inches by 15 in height because it constrained it to fit the artboard. And you can see what I was saying before. It squished the actual art from whatever 70 by 80 inches down to this 14 by 15. And as a result, that dots per square inch of ink that it will be printed with has skyrocketed. So we're well over the 300. So no worries there. I'm just going to click on this so I can align to the top. You'll see it move up and that gap shrink between here and there. And you can assume that the space here is about 2 inches, so like 2.5 to maybe 3 fingers between the bottom of the collar here and this art box. It's already centered. We know that because we did the rest left and right in Kittle itself. I'm just going to select our variants here. I don't want white, but I do want ivory. I think it looked great off white. Maybe a bay. Bay could work too. I think a chambray looks cool too. I don't know if anybody would order it, but I think, the ivory, the off-white butter's too much. But yeah, this looks great as is right here. So with these 3 colors, we'll say, and actually I lied, white looks good too. Obviously Christmas, so I'm just going to say product here. 4 colors is plenty. We never want to overdo it with the colors because A, the design isn't going to look good on every single color, but B, too many options for the customer can lead to what's known as analysis paralysis or decision fatigue. So think of any time you went into, that coffee shop and all you really wanted was a hot coffee and they had 47 different kinds of coffee you could get on the board. You were just so overwhelmed. Well, it's that same kind of idea with anything to do with e-commerce, right? What you can do from here is title it all, fill out your description. I would add 2 lines here talking about the product itself with a call to action, like get this awesome Christmas shirt for the entire family to mark 2025 as the best family Christmas ever. Leave all the garment description here below. I would change this to a title that makes sense for Etsy. We can add our tags here, all the things that we need to. We would enable personalization to allow customers on Etsy to add their custom last name. And then in Etsy, you can create your own mockups here, or you can check out Place It if you have an account, or you can upload your own mockups as well, which I tend to do is buy them on Etsy proper and just have some different lifestyle ones. So they're a little more fun. These guys are kind of boring, right? They're a little plain. The ones on Etsy are lifestyle mock-ups, so it's actually showing a person in the shirt, not just a t-shirt on a blank background. It looks a lot more fun, and then the customer can kind of envision themselves in it. And then you would hit publish, and it would push it right to your Etsy shop. So super simple to do. Alternatively, you can create the listing right in Etsy. It's very easy to do using the same mock-ups you just bought on Etsy anyway. And then you can come in here and call this something like CFC for custom family Christmas 01, because I'll probably make, a 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5 version of this with our top 5 most popular last names out there. And then I would save this as a draft. And then when an order comes in on Etsy, I can just attach it, select the product from these drafts that I've created, and then I can submit that as the order. And then going forward, anytime that order comes in from Etsy, it'll automatically pick this particular draft that I attached to it. And then, Bob's your uncle that way, right? You can just drop your custom artwork with the new last name that we just edited in Kittl and click submit. Super simple to do. There's a ton of ways to achieve this kind of look with these designs as well. So if there's any other aesthetic that you want me to dive into, or any other tutorial you want me to show you on how to create any of this stuff, and if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.